Hello everyone, this is Darko 2012 with Global Government News, and I'm reading an article, follow-up article from yesterday's January 14th article covering the information czar, Obama's information czar, calling for, banning free speech and infiltrating and stopping any kind of, quote, conspiracy groups. This one will contain a video when I'm done reading. If you want to get to it immediately, just scroll through to the end of the video. But I'm going to read this information because it's pretty important to give you some background before you get to hear this scumbag talk about how our Second Amendment is really just misconstrued and misunderstood and blown out of proportion. How we don't really have the right to protect ourselves against criminal-ass government like this man, who they call themselves czars in a free country. So here we go. It was posted it was written by Steve Watson, and on Friday, January 15th, 2010. Sorry if there's popping in the mic or if you can't hear me. I'm having a hard time finding a good medium, so it's not too low and it's not too high. I'm getting a couple comments about that, so sorry if it's not perfect audio quality. I'm just, a regular dude in my house here making these videos, so just bear with me, I guess. Cass Sunstein, President Obama's appointee to head of the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, and the man who outlined a plan for the government to infiltrate, quote, conspiracy groups in order to undermine them, is in direct line for a promotion to the Supreme Court justice. Sunstein, already in an advanced position of power in the White House as regulatory czar, has already called for strict restrictions on gun ownership, an internet, quote, Fairness Doctrine, and an effective ban on free speech where dissenting opinions to those of the government are expressed. Sunstein's name was on a various shortlists to replace Justice David Souter last year following his retirement and prior to the appointment of Sonia Sotomayor. Sunstein's name was also touted for the Supreme Court before Obama even took office in November 2008. His close personal relationship with Obama should set off alarm bells ringing for anyone who values the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, particularly as Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, now age 75, is likely to take retirement soon following illness, and with Justice John Paul Stevens now at age 90. Sunstein and Obama go way back from their faculty days at the University of Chicago Law School and are firm friends. Sunstein worked as an advisor to Obama during his presidential campaign and was drafted into the White House soon after Obama won the election. As Obama's information czar, Sunstein effectively interprets the law for the executive. Sunstein operates in a similar but much more elevated role to that of the former Justice Department lawyer John Yoo, who infamously reinterpreted the law to legally sanction torture under the Bush administration. As we have highlighted in our article yesterday, Sunstein has outlined plans for the government to infiltrate, quote, conspiracy groups, including 9/11 Truth Movement, in order to undermine them via postings on chat rooms and social networks, as well as real meetings. Sunstein has effectively penned the blueprint for a COINTELPRO provocateur-style program to silence what have become the government's most vociferous and influential critics. The specifics of the plan must be read in full in order to gauge their extreme nature and the threat Sunstein poses to the freedom in America. On page 14 of Sunstein's 2008 white paper entitled Conspiracy Theory, he proposed that under imaginable conditions the government might ban conspiracy theorizing and could impose some kind of tax, and financial or otherwise, on those who disseminate such theories. In effect, Obama's information czar wants to tax or ban outright, as in make illegal, opinions and ideas that the government doesn't approve of. Sunstein's definition of a conspiracy theorist encompasses those who question man-made global warming, and most bizarrely, anyone who believes that sunlight is healthy for their bodies. Presumably, if Sunstein had been in power in the late Middle Ages, he would have attempted to tax and then ban the work of Galileo for subscribing to the theory that the Earth was not the center of the universe, and that it actually revolved around the sun. When he's not going after those evil sunlight lovers, Sunstein advocates internet censorship via enforced and regulated links and news pieces to opposing opinions. Sunstein himself later retracted that proposal, explaining that it would be, quote, too difficult to regulate the internet in a way that would respond to those concerns, and admitting that it was almost certainly unconstitutional. Sunstein has also called for the rewriting of the First Amendment and has even proposed a mandatory celebration of a tax day in America, saying that we are grateful that, we pay taxes. His views on the Second Amendment have also raised serious concerns. In his book, Radicals and Robes, he wrote, almost all gun control legislation is constitutionally fine. Sunstein is on the record attacking the Second Amendment. Watching the following clip as he says, quote, Supreme Court has never suggested that the Second Amendment protects the individual right to have guns. So we'll go in here and check this video.
My coming view is that the individual right to bear arms reflects the success of an extremely aggressive and resourceful social movement, and has much less to do with good standard legal arguments than appears. We have seen an unbelievable transformation in the culture of the Second Amendment in a short time. As late as the early 1990s, consider, for example, that part of the law of the District of Columbia that requires citizens to keep lawfully owned shotguns bound at home by a trigger lock. Suppose that a citizen objects, as citizens have been objecting, that the trigger lock interferes with his efforts at self-defense against criminals. What on earth does that have to do with the Second Amendment as originally understood? My tentative suggestion is that the individual right to have guns, as it's being conceptualized now, is best taken as a contemporary creation and a reflection of current fears, not a reading of civic-centered founding debates. Modern gun owners who are invoking the Second Amendment on the basis of a principle they favor are perfectionists, not so different from older people who tried unsuccessfully, I'm pleased to say, to get the Equal Protection Clause read to strike down mandatory retirement laws. Well, in terms of judicial developments, it is striking and noteworthy that well over 2 centuries since the founding, the Supreme Court has never suggested that the Second Amendment protects an individual right to have guns. Not once. It would be amazing, though, given that fact, though don't be surprised if the first time it happens is in the next.
So there you go, everybody. That's Obama's information czar, possibly soon to be Supreme Court official. So I guess leave your comments. Let me know what you think, and thanks for checking out.